All right, you guys have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. We're here today to discuss the significance of adolescent abortion. I'm James Wright.
I'm Michael Valverde.
I'm Lucy Poulos. And I'm Caroline Cummings. 55% of teenage pregnancies end in abortion, according to a statistic from the World Health Organization. Teenagers are getting pregnant and having abortions at vastly increasing rates, and this needs to change. This graph from the CDC shows the abortion rate in adolescent women from ages 15 to 19 years old. As you can see, the abortion rate increases, finally plateauing at 12 women aged 19 who get an abortion per 1,000 women in the population.
According to Sahil and Smith, unintended pregnancies are the primary cause of abortions. Research from the Brookings Institution found that 95% of abortions result from unintended pregnancies, which helps explain why prevention is especially important for teenagers.
Adolescents can proceed with their abortion via telehealth or at a clinic. Adolescents who do not wish to involve their parents may obtain the procedure through the mail from another state because of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Here are the suicide counts after each pregnancy outcome: abortion, pregnancy loss, delivery, and problematic pregnancy. As you can see, the count was significantly higher after an abortion. This is from the Journal of Psychosomatic Obstetrics and Gynecology.
This graph from the DMCA shows the mental health disorders that come after having an abortion. Around 37% of women experience depression, 34% of them experience anxiety, 19% of women experience marijuana abuse, and 10% of women experience alcohol abuse. Since substance abuse issues and mental health disorders are already a prevalent part of our society, this can be very detrimental to the way that an adolescent has to live her life.
Our group's research question is, how can teenage abortion be prevented? Preventing teenage abortion is important to society because it affects adolescents, their families, healthcare providers, policymakers, and taxpayers. These issues are concerning as they can lead to emotional stress, physical and mental health problems, and socioeconomic challenges.
The first solution we considered was implementing mandatory ultrasound viewing laws in clinics prior to an abortion. While this is feasible, it doesn't address the prevention of teenage pregnancies and would be unlikely to substantially lower abortion rates. According to the National Library of Medicine, this is a situation at hand in Wisconsin, one of the few states with such laws.
Another viable solution is social media restriction. Social media restriction can help a teenager to potentially avoid different aspects of social media, which may affect how they perceive having abortions and getting pregnant. This quote from the American Psychology Association states that unsupervised social media is more likely to expose children to potentially harmful content and the features of social media. If parents have their say, hopefully this can go down. However, it is not addressing the entire root cause of what is causing these abortions, so it wouldn't be able to affect that many people.
Ultimately, we concluded that adolescents should be provided free education and contraception through government-funded programs in order to lower the amount of teen pregnancies and therefore lowering the amount of abortions. We found that this was our most viable solution rather than ultrasounds or social media restrictions because it costs the least as well as being the most effective.
There are three main arguments among the many that back up our solution. First of all, free contraception can help people in poor financial situations to avoid getting pregnant. It also prevents abortion and pregnancy before it occurs, meaning that pregnancy being an issue as well can also go down. And finally, education on abortion will educate the teen on whatever route she decides to take, so she can decide what's best for her.
Our first argument is that providing free contraception through government-funded prevention programs reduces unintended pregnancies that often lead to teenage abortion. Evidence shows that when contraception is accessible, teens are more likely to use it. This is important because preventing these unintended pregnancies directly leads to fewer teenage abortions. 75% of abortion patients are low income. This number is important because it shows that cost is a major factor, which helps explain why providing free contraception can reduce unintended pregnancies that often lead to abortion. Research by Germain and colleagues at the Guttmacher Institute found that most abortion patients have incomes below 200% of the federal poverty level. This shows that cost is a major barrier, which helps support the need for free contraception and education through government-funded prevention programs.
The use of contraceptives plays a major role in reducing abortion rates. By helping individuals avoid unintended pregnancies in the first place, these methods significantly reduce the circumstances in which an individual might consider having an abortion. According to national survey data collected by Advocates for Youth, a large majority of adolescents, approximately 88% across 42 states, reported facing significant barriers when trying to obtain contraceptive resources. An International Reproductive Health Journal study indicated a 2.7 times increased likelihood that women would have acquired an IUD or long-term contraceptive if they had been aware of them.
Our last argument protects the teen by warning her of the likely consequences of terminating the pregnancy in the long run. After having an abortion, she will be 2 to 6 times more likely to commit suicide, and this is especially dependent on her home life and current circumstances. American Adoptions, an agency that provides education and services for any of the 3 paths of an adolescent's pregnancy, agrees upon the importance of free information through any decision she might make in order to make the best choice for herself, her family, and her baby.
While some lawmakers hesitate to invest public funds in prevention programs, the long-term benefits, both socially and financially, tend to outweigh the initial costs. Even though taxpayers would help fund the initiatives, effective education programs could significantly reduce teenage pregnancy rates, ultimately reducing future expenses.
Although prevention programs may cost money, it will require less money in the long run. Abortion rates, especially long-term abortions, can cost a couple of thousands of dollars. And this would actually save us money by putting these abortions on a lower scale.
Umberl and colleagues found that California's Medicaid Family Planning Services saved the public about $2.2 billion over 5 years while only costing about $404 million. This demonstrates that prevention programs are more cost-effective than paying for the consequences of unintended pregnancies that often lead to abortions. Our group's solution is to expand government-funded prevention programs modeled after successful family planning services. These programs provide free contraception and education, which research shows reduces unintended pregnancies, which often lead to abortion. Expanding these programs would benefit teens, their families, policymakers, healthcare providers, and taxpayers.
In conclusion, government-implemented prevention, such as contraceptive and education provision programs, will allow teenagers to be educated on abortion and its consequences, minimizing impulsive decisions. This concludes our presentation. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you guys. I have a few questions to ask you. And I will start with you, James. What is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' individual research reports that you decided to exclude from the team presentation, and why?
So one compelling argument that we decided to exclude was Cece's argument. She researched in the scientific lens on the negative health impacts on a teenager in relation to abortion. But one argument she made was for counseling before and after an abortion for teenagers. And while we feel that this is a strong and effective solution that's made to help teenagers both before and after, we felt that it was too broad and too unrealistic for what we're arguing for and not specific enough. So ultimately we cut it from our presentation.
Thank you, James. Michael, as you reflect on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding?
Michael Valverde, please come to the front office to sign out. Michael Valverde, please come to the front office to sign out.
Sorry about that. Okay, so let's get your question in. Which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem your group identified? Reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem your group identified?
Cece's research through a scientific lens had the greatest impact on my understanding because her research helped me understand the mental and physical health risks teenagers are faced with because of their ongoing development. Her research impacted my understanding because it helped me see our problem as not just access to free contraception, but also as a biological issue for a teen's mental and physical health.
Oh, okay, thank you, Michael. And Lucy, how did the group decide to include Michael's perspective or Lynn's conclusion to the overall presentation?
We decided to include Michael's lens and conclusions into our presentation because he worked from a part of the financial lens and he was able to come up with the solution that we ended up choosing.
Oh,
He used this solution with his ability that it was like practicality
mhm.
that we are going for so that people of all sorts of backgrounds can have access to something so that we can solve this.
And Caroline, could you describe how the content of your team's presentation was changed as a result of group discussion?
We originally were going to go with my solution of counseling, but as we discussed it, we decided that we needed a more practical solution as well as one that would target a larger audience so that everyone could have access to the contraception in order to stop the abortion, because my solution was not necessarily targeted enough. Also, the solution we came up with was a lot more practical because it was the most cost effective.
Thank you guys for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.